it's good to see y'all. I'm the last speaker. The end of the day, is that right? Okay, well, I'll be quick for you, okay? It's been a busy day on the Hill. We're glad to have y'all all here. I wish you were here more often. We could use your expertise right about now. Congress is endeavoring to step into this field, and it's always a little nerve-wracking when Congress steps into a field that it is unfamiliar with, and so we rely on a lot of outside counsel and wise counsel as we navigate these uncharted waters. It might feel like a lifetime ago, but we only have to flip the calendar back a few years to the time when Congress was debating the way forward on 5G and Huawei. And as you all remember, by the time Congress and the administration were having that debate, we were already behind the eight ball. We're concerned about that now. China had already infiltrated our telecommunications networks and those of our partners with Huawei products. And while Washington is now in a better place when it comes to 5G, we're once again lagging in our understanding of AI. As innovators and company owners, you all know that American companies are the world's leaders in AI technology, and we desperately want to maintain that status. And we have the best innovators, we have the best minds, we have the best companies, we have the best technology, and we're happy to boast about that. And I'm hopeful that AI can be the most beneficial tool in the entirety of humanity. But as you know, some of us are also concerned, and I know some of you share these concerns, that it could also be a very destructive tool, and that our enemies could use it to the detriment of American security. So we want to watch that. We don't want to stifle innovation in any way. We don't want to smother the creativity in any way, as government is apt to do, but we do want to have some sort of protection. Every industry seeks to gain from a world where America is the leader in AI, but if Washington fails to connect the economic and the technological interests with our security interests, we will pave a way for the world to be shaped by Chinese communism rather than Western democracy. Like you, I don't want to see American leadership decline, and I don't want to live in a world where Xi Jinping sets the rules or where American companies play second fiddle to those in China. I want to see a robust domestic technology industrial base right here on our shores. And I believe that there are three things that we could do that will take us there. I want to outline them just very quickly for you. Number one, I think we need a regulatory environment that fosters competition and innovation, fosters it and does not stifle it. If we're too aggressive in our regulations or mimic licensing-based regimes, I'm afraid that we will stifle leading-edge researchers and we'll wind up ceding ground to China. So we've got to be very careful. We're watchful for that. The people in this room aren't afraid to innovate and to fail and try again. That's kind of part of the process and part of the path to success, ultimately. And you all want to take the challenge of artificial intelligence head on. So we want to encourage that. So it's Congress's responsibility to ensure that you all have the access to capital and a stable regulatory environment that will allow you to experiment and build the new American economy. I just want to pause here and just say I wish that the current administration would realize this. I'm not sure they do. I think they need to see that it goes against our interests for the FTC to send delegations to the EU and help enforce EU regulations against American companies. We should be helping, not hurting or hindering American innovators. Number two, I think we need international cooperation. We must be relentless in our efforts to ensure American companies are not shackled by harmful overseas regulation at the same time. We recognize that some countries are trying to follow the EU's approach of regulating American tech companies out of existence. Some of the other countries are doing that. But we must make clear that if America and American companies lose, that means China wins. And we have to remind the world that who develops the AI tools and how these tools are used and where those tools are used are of critical importance, and that it's in everybody's interest to see America become the home of AI tools. So we have to be strategic. We have to be focused as we seek to crowd out China in the places where they're trying to compete. Countries that are on the fence, like those in the Gulf and in Latin America, must come to see China as an undesirable partner to work with and a country that will upend their own interests. And this shouldn't be hard because communist China pilfers technology, regularly steals IP, and we all know that. If we're going to win, we have to be aggressive. And of course, we should also be building on our strong military partnerships to ensure that AI capabilities are advancing. I'm encouraged by what's happening with AUKUS and the technologies we're creating in that partnership space. And you may have seen that we're developing autonomous vehicles that can preserve network connectivity in a contested environment. This is good, but in the face of the Chinese threat, we have to do a lot more. The third thing I just wanted to mention is that what we have to do is show American leadership. And by doing that, to promote a robust, all-of-the-above energy strategy. The energy component here is very important. It's estimated that by the 2030s, the amount of computing energy used to train frontier AI models could be approximately 1,000 times that used to train ChatGPT-4. And if you account for progress on algorithms, the amount of effective computing power could be approximately a mind-blowing 1 million times that used to train GPT-4. It's going to take enormous data centers and enormous amounts of energy to help us advance all that technology. And those on the left have to realize that the Green New Deal proposals are just not going to get us there. They limit our ability to access affordable and available energy, and that will certainly hurt us. It will handicap American technology and all these advances. That's why last year House Republicans passed H.R. 1 to return America to a place of energy independence. We'd like to aspire again to energy dominance, which we had achieved a couple of years ago. Our legislation increases domestic production, it reforms the federal permitting process, it streamlines exports, it boosts production of critical minerals. I've also worked with the Senate to craft a deal to get Chairwoman Cathy McMorris Rodgers' Advance Act through the House and the Senate in the coming months. And this is a major piece of legislation to support the continued operation and growth of America's nuclear energy assets. If we're going to maintain our status as a global leader, we don't want to say no to new forms of energy. We genuinely do want an all-the-above approach that gives us everything we need without taking anything away. And finally, I just wanted to mention, and I'm sure you know about this, but we've now launched an AI task force. We have a competitive regulatory environment, we have international cooperation, and a robust energy strategy. That's our three steps, I think 3 agenda items. That's the way to achieve American AI leadership. But to fulfill those 3 goals, I think Congress has to flex its Article 1 muscles again and write laws that are going to set up America and American companies for all of the success that we aspire to. And that's why earlier this year, Leader Jeffries and I launched a bipartisan task force on artificial intelligence. As the technological landscape rapidly evolves and the future of everything from cybersecurity to job security becomes uncertain, we think Congress must do right by the American workers and companies and our security interests. And you should know that the task force is already meeting regularly and will be providing recommendations for congressional action, and we're anxiously awaiting that work product. And I just want to encourage all of you, as much as you're able, as much as possible, to engage with the 24 members on that task force. It's being led by Chair Obernolte out of California and co-chair Ted Lieu out of California, Republican and Democrat. Obernolte has a master's degree in AI. I didn't even know there was a thing. I mean, he's overqualified to be in Congress, but I'm glad he's here. We have to be thorough. We have to be methodical, but we also have to be bipartisan because American leadership must be a bipartisan interest. And you all can help us get there. Last thing I'll mention, and I'll leave you be, but it's the TikTok issue. And as you all know, Congress has begun to take its first step in combating the Chinese AI threat by forcing TikTok to divest from ByteDance. That was breakthrough legislation, and in some corners it was controversial, but the idea was to protect Americans' youth and protect Americans' data, both of which are jeopardized by that app. And as you all know, it will also protect us from Chinese disinformation. Earlier this year, it was discovered that ByteDance and individuals linked to the CCP were deploying AI to disrupt elections in Taiwan and here in the United States. And ByteDance used AI-generated Taiwanese news anchors who told listeners that America was building biological labs in Taiwan. You better believe they'd try to do similar things here. Because TikTok will remain operative here for several more months ahead of the election, we have to be on the lookout for similar attempts to sow distrust and divide our people. And we can't let Xi shape our understanding of reality. Just imagine what would scroll through your TikTok feed if China were to invade Taiwan. We pray that doesn't happen. They would almost certainly alter the algorithm and make us believe that China was in the right, or at the very least, silence voices who are critical of China. That legislation was a milestone step, but because China is unyielding in their efforts to undermine U.S. and our country and dethrone America from its position on the world stage, we have to be unyielding as we protect our interests and unyielding as we seek to meet the challenges of the 21st century. We're really grateful you're here, and I just want to say, I guess this is a conclusion of a long day, but on behalf of all my colleagues in the House and the body, we're really grateful for what you contribute to the economy, to technology, and to our work here, and we hope that becomes a partnership. You really do have an open door here. There are not many industries, not many leaders and experts who we just openly plead for your counsel, but I am doing that here today because a lot of the people who are of goodwill here, who want to do the right thing, could use some of your guidance along the way to make sure that we don't step on any landmines that we don't see. You have a much better vision, I think, on a lot of that than we do, and I'm humble enough to tell you that's true. So thanks for being here. I hope you've enjoyed your time in the Capitol. You're much better behaved than House Republican Conference, and I thank you for that. We appreciate it, and I thank you for the time.